So, to be brutally honest, this wasn't a video I thought I would really ever come to make, and that's not necessarily because I thought I would indefinitely be able to consistently make videos according to schedule, or more or less be able to do that, but rather because I didn't think that this would occur at this particular point. I've hit a stage of burnout, not through making content itself, which I'm sure I'll explain a little bit more here in just a bit, but rather because of my real life job. And this burnout has basically just melted my brain, and all my priorities have ended up in a place where just making video content was not a thing that I could really do for the past month and a half at this point. And as such, I need to just take a step back. I need to take a break. I need to free myself from certain obligations and let my brain recover, essentially, is the short of this video. If you want to stop watching at this point because that makes enough sense to you, there you go. That is what's going on. I'm taking a brief content hiatus. Now, what this actually means is not necessarily as scary as my brain was trying to convince me that it sounded for a little while. I'm not taking a content hiatus in the sense that, I'm indefinitely disappearing and I'll be back at some indeterminable point in the future. Rather, a content hiatus, as I'm thinking of it right now, is merely a mental reset. I need to take some time away from having to worry about making videos, either for this channel or for the second channel beyond what has already been made, and let myself actually recover. And by recover, I mentioned that I hit burnout because of my real life job, and this is absolutely the case. So where I work is a location that somewhat regularly goes on a thing that we like to call overhaul. And overhaul is where certain portions of the facility are shut down so that they can be repaired, so that certain things can be overhauled, fixed up, cleaned up, overall repaired in, anywhere from a month to 2 months later, usually between 4 and 6 weeks for the bulk of the work. Everybody's working a lot of extra hours, particularly the type of job that I do. And while that's not necessarily so difficult, the actual hours itself wasn't so difficult this year. It was mostly just my brain. After working so many days in a row and working certain kinds of hours so many days in a row, when I'm used to working the schedule that I was working before that, and a very fortunate schedule, I might add, it just meant my brain kind of eventually hit a point of being overloaded. You add to this the fact that during the last couple of months, I have a couple of freelance projects that I've been working on, and one of those had a preferable deadline of the very day that this video is releasing, actually, and the day that I'm recording this, the day before, on May 31st, was the day that I actually finished it. And the only reason I was able to finish that particular project, quote unquote, on time, according to my schedule, was because I have not done any video production work basically at all for the last month and a half, but pretty much closer to 2 months. It's been over a month and a half since I've really made any videos, and the handful of videos that I have made in the last month and a half have been, to be honest, not good. They've not been great videos. They've been pretty much as low effort as they could possibly be, just on account of how much my brain had melted. Some of those videos I basically forgot about until the very last second. For the first time, I had a Fortnite on the Isle a handful of weeks back that I literally did not record until 2 hours before it was supposed to go live. And I've never not recorded one of those videos at least the day before. The reason that happened was because I entirely forgot about the video until 6 o'clock in the morning at my time zone anyway, which is like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure this is the week for Fortnite on the Isle. And I look, and yep, it sure was the week. So I just quickly, gathered all of the material that I needed to talk about, recorded the video, quickly put it together, very, very quickly got a thumbnail put on it, and then called that good. And that was basically all I did there. Furthermore, the next Fortnite on the Isle that should have come out a couple weeks after that did not come out at all, because the exact same thing happened. I believe it was about 6:30 in the morning that morning while I was working on freelance work. The exact same scenario as a couple weeks prior, and I was like, wait a minute, this is Fortnite on the Isle week. And I decided, instead of actually, doing the same rushed, low effort garbage again, I was going to just not post it. So I instead did a little community post that said, hey, no Fortnite on the Isle this week, but I have a couple videos coming out on Tuesday and Thursday, which were my top 15 books of all time and my top 5 book series of all time. And those came out last week and have both been very successful. One of those is already within just a handful of days the third most watched video on the channel, and only the third video to hit over 1,000 views. No super big surprise there. I kind of anticipated for those two videos to be amongst my bigger ones, but it also felt like the right time. So it was a couple weeks back when I inevitably ended up forgetting about certain videos. I thought about the idea of taking a content hiatus and what that would mean, what I would do. And the more that I thought about it, the more attractive the idea became, and the more I felt like I actually needed it in order to reset from my real life job. Again, I'm not actually burned out from making videos. I'd be perfectly fine making more of them right now. But I feel like I just need to reset and let myself take a break because of how much my real life job, and then to a lesser extent, freelance work on top of it, happened to just melt my brain a bit. Anyway, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. Goes to show where my head's at the moment. So the point that I'm making is, a couple weeks back, I decided that I probably just needed to take a step back from content, and I also needed to do that because of one of my freelance deadlines. And I was able to make that deadline because I decided not to spend the last couple weeks preparing all of June's videos, ahead of time, starting getting that train rolling. I just didn't do that. And I'm not going to spend any time preparing videos or anything like that for a couple more weeks at this point, because I need to reset. I've opted to take a vacation from my real life job this week, now that I've had my first opportunity to actually do so ahead of, the next year, which is probably going to be even crazier for my real life work until I hit a point where I'm no longer working at that facility. Stuff that I can talk about maybe in a year or two. But I'm taking a vacation here, and I felt like it was the right time to take a content hiatus because of where my head's at, because of where I just need to take a break and not work on things for a little while. And also because, like I said, these two top 15 and then top 5 videos that just came out this last week felt like a pretty fitting place to close out where my channel's at this exact stage. And then come July, I'll be back and, just not post anything in June and call that good. So I think that's what I'm doing. And to not let this video become 50,000 years long, I'm basically going to cut it there. On the second channel, there are still a couple more videos that are going to come out in June. Those part of the Remnant 2 Let's Play that's been going on for a couple months, where those have been posting every week. That Let's Play that's a few years old anyway and was all edited a couple months back in the first place. So all of that's done. And then there was a couple more Let's Play videos for a different game that were going to come out in June, in which the end cards probably still say the next video's coming in June or something like that. I instead rescheduled those for July, because I'm not going to take any time in June to actually record stuff for the second channel, or for this channel for that matter. And aside from all of that, I don't have any content on the main channel right now. Everything else is... there's nothing there. I still need to plan all of that, and I guarantee I'm going to spend the last couple weeks of June, still planning a lot of that material and actually recording some of it, but I do need a couple weeks away from both my real life job and from doing YouTube stuff to get back into a mindset where that groove is able to return, I suppose. And that might sound a little bit weird, just like, oh, you're going to stop doing the thing to let your groove for the thing return. And yeah, I am, because I want my brain to reset, be back onto the mindset that I need for actually producing things and, doing the thing that I've been doing for 3.5 years at this point. So that's basically the short of it. I don't really need to go into any more detail than that, just to say I'm taking a hiatus here. There's not going to be any new videos posted in June on this channel, and only a couple videos on the second channel that were already done ahead of time. But rest assured that I will be back, and I will be posting content again come July. Well, almost certainly we'll be posting content again come July. I'm obviously not going to guarantee that if I decide that I need to do different, but I'm almost certainly going to be back in July, and we'll be back on a schedule that mostly resembles what it has been for the last little while, although I will probably adjust things a little bit in accordance to how I feel would actually service the channel a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing. Thankfully, you know, as much as I can say thankfully in this regard, thankfully my channel's small enough that, you know, there's no monetization or anything. There's no livelihood that I'm putting at stake or risking losing by doing this. So in that sense, it's a little easier to make this decision. It's just like, oh, it's not my actual job. So it's not like I'm, you know, risking my entire channel falling off the planet. But at the same time, my channel growth, the trajectory that it has seen over the last year and a half has been phenomenal. And taking a month off from posting videos, especially at the frequency that I've been posting videos basically for the last 2.5 years at this point, is going to be really, really odd. And it's probably not going to do my channel any good, but that's something that I'm willing to do in order to not hit complete and total spiritual burnout, because right now it's just my brain needs to reset. Now that I'm done with the freelance project that I needed to be done with by the time this video posts, and had a couple other things going on and taking a vacation this week, this video is actually coming out on the morning that I'm leaving to go on my vacation. Everything just felt like a perfect storm of events to just take a step back, take some time off, and enjoy myself for at least a few weeks without having to worry too much about this little machine that YouTube can be and sometimes feel like. I also want to shout out at the very end of this video Jared Henderson's channel. If you happen to be watching my channel and you don't know about Jared Henderson, I have no idea how that happened. Jared's really great, and several of his videos that he has posted this year have been really helpful in me identifying and deciding to actually take steps towards taking a hiatus and being able to justify making that decision. So I recommend you go check out some of his recent videos, especially the one where I believe, I don't remember what the title of the video is, but the thumbnail says The World of Total Work or something like that. And that video particularly kind of explains how I'm feeling at the moment as a workaholic who can't make myself not see everything as work. So I'm just having to separate my brain from work entirely for a little while to reset. That's the whole point of this. I'm just taking a mental reset, taking a spiritual reset, taking a hiatus from making content for a few weeks here, and I'll be back in July. So thank you for watching this video, and thank you for sitting through the whole thing. If you happen to, I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys in about a month from now, whenever my next video comes out, but it'll probably be early in July, where I'll recount the way the last couple months have been, recount the little hiatus, and also, you know, talk about Maze Analytics, I suppose, because today's video would ordinarily be a state of affairs where I talked about the analytics of the channel, and I'm not doing that this month. So I'll see you guys in a month's time, and I hope you guys stick around to be there as well. I appreciate you once again for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, whenever that might be.